Okay, so what do you notice? What do you wonder about the graphs? Give me like one thing you see. Thanks. John Jason.
So the bottom right,
Okay.
that one's actually, I think that one's gonna be like, that's gonna have like x to the third.
Okay. All right, that's what you notice is. Yes, ma'am. They all have roots of 3. Okay, so she's talking about x equals 3. You see where it crosses the x-axis? Yeah, that's what we're doing today. That's what multiplicity is. Logan.
Isn't all odd except the top left one?
They're all odd except for the top left one. Yeah, this one is going to be an x to the third. This one's also going to be x to the third. This one's going to be x to the third. This one's a quadratic, right? Okay, that takes somebody's. So sorry. What? Yes, he was. Okay, cool. All right, you are titling your page zeros and multiplicities.
What does that picture thing just say B?
So what I want you to do is on your paper, you're going to say cross is odd multiplicity, bounce is going to be even. Okay, cross is going to be odd multiplicity, bounce is going to be even. Okay, and then I want you to go ahead and write down this example. Okay, so kind of like write down this little chart and then write down this example. What we mean by cross is like on a graph, if it crosses the x-axis. So like right here, that would be a cross. A bounce is if we had something go down to the x-axis, touch, and then go back up. Kind of looks like a bounce of a ball.
Whoa.
I know, crazy. Okay, so really quick, let's kind of review from last time. Remember when we had factored form? Okay, how do we find the zeros? Like, how do we solve for these? So you remember? We set them equal to 0, and then we solve, right? Okay, really, in this instance, we're just going to switch the sign, right? Like, that's what's probably going to happen. So we're going to have a 0 at -9. We're going to have a 0 at -3. And we're going to have a 0 at 4. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and graph those really quick. -9, -3, and 4. So sorry. Yes, ma'am. We're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Yes, it is going to mean it's a bounce. Y'all are too smart for your own good. It's fine. Okay, so now that we've identified the zeros, we're going to talk about multiplicity. Multiplicity is the number of times that something is multiplied by. Okay, number of times something is multiplied by. Now, if you look this up on Google, they're going to give you a really elaborate explanation. So, okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, what is the exponent of this x plus 9? 1. So that has a multiplicity of 1. What is the exponent of this x plus 3?
1.
Okay, so that has a multiplicity of 1. What is the exponent of this x minus 4?
3.
Wow. Wow. 2. So that's going to have a multiplicity of 2. With me? Okay, what degree polynomial do we got going on? Like if we took all of this junk and we multiplied it out, what would be the highest exponent? 4, because you can add up your multiplicities and that would tell you what it is, right? Okay, so we have a degree of 4. And then, yes, it's going to mean that it's a W. Okay, in behavior. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but first we're going to sketch the graph. Gary just told us that we're going to have a W, right? Okay, is this gonna be facing upwards or downwards? How do you know? It's positive. If I took all these x's and multiplied them out, that would give me a positive x to the fourth, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do, watch. Before you write anything, watch. Okay, I'm gonna start right here up at the top because you told me it was gonna look like a W, right? I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna cross it -9. I'm gonna cross it -3, and then I'm going to bounce at 4. The reason why I'm crossing is because we have multiplicities of 1. The reason why it's bouncing is because it has a multiplicity of 2. Yep, 1 is odd. Yeah. Okay, so in behavior, where is this joker facing? Up at the both sides, right? So as x approaches -infinity, y is also going to positive infinity. As x is approaching positive infinity, y is still approaching positive infinity. Yay, go team.
Yeah, it's negative 0.
Okay, so we got zeros at, okay, all right, we got zeros at 2 and -2, right? Okay, let's look at the multiplicity, ready? What is the multiplicity at -2? Okay, good. And then what's the multiplicity at 2? Okay, fantastic. Now, is this guy positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, and what degree polynomial we got? 3. So we got an odd and we got negative, right? Okay, this is where knowing what the shape of your graph looks like is going to help you. You have to know that. That's one of those, like, you gotta have them memorized. So we're gonna go ahead and put our x-intercepts, which is at -2 and 2. Now we have an odd degree polynomial and it's negative. So what, from left to right, how does that graph look? Okay, so if it's positive, it's gonna look like this, right? If it's negative, it's gonna look like this, right? So it's gonna go from up here, it's gonna come down. Am I gonna cross or am I gonna bounce at -2? Cross. Am I gonna bounce or am I gonna cross? Okay, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now, I will say this, that sketch is not gonna be exact. You just wanna know what the shape of the graph is gonna look like, right? Okay. Now, in behavior, as x is approaching -infinity, so as we're looking to the left, what happened to our y's? Yep.
And as it approaches
Positive. Man, Jared's on top of it today. There you go. So that -1/2, obviously that changes the direction, but also like the 1/2, it's technically a vertical shrink. So it's gonna make it a little bit more compressed. So it's gonna make it super tiny. Okay. 3.0. I don't believe you. Okay. So what are the zeros of this guy?
negative a and b.
-a and b. Now, what is the multiplicity?
Okay, so you see negative a, you have 1, and b, you have 2.
Okay, how do we know?
Because there's cross negative a and a bouncing.
Cross it this guy, bounce it this guy. Does that make sense? Okay, now, when we want to write out an equation, what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch the sign of our zeros and slap an x in front of it. So we got x plus a, x minus b, and then with the multiplicities, we're just gonna put those exponents on the outside. Ta-da! Now you didn't have to write the 1 here if you didn't want to. You can leave it off. Okay, so let's talk. All right, what are the zeros of this guy? Okay, -3, 2, and 5. Okay, now if we're gonna write, we're gonna list out their multiplicities. So what's the multiplicity of -3?
1, 2, and
2 and 1, right? Okay, now we're going to write the equation. So we always change the sign and then slap an x up in front of it and then raise it to whatever the multiplicity is, right? Go ahead. Yeah. 2 second power, x minus 5. Ta-da!
This one is easier than.
All right, talk to me about what you get. How do I go about solving this one?
I don't know how to graph first.
Yeah.
There's three numbers, so there's gotta be a balance, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and graph our zeros. We got -3, we got 4, and we got 6, right? Okay, then this whole end behavior nonsense. So as x gets larger and larger in either the positive or the negative direction, x gets larger in the negative direction.
As x approaches negative 30, y approaches x positive. Y is negative.
Okay, so that, what, yeah, exactly.
X goes
Okay, so that means that my ending part is going to be facing down. That's what that tells me. Now, Pom-Pom introduced the fact that it's a 4th degree, but we only got 3 zeros. So that means that one of these guys has to be a bounce. Okay, so you could have gotten a couple different things. You could have gotten something like this, where it crosses here, bounces here, and then crosses here. Or you could have gotten it bounces here, crosses here, crosses here. Or you could have gotten it crosses here, crosses there, and then bounces there. So there's 3 different answers. Okay, so now when you write it out, the biggest thing is that one of these has to have an exponent of 2. Okay,
I say.
okay, boom. All right, so you could have had like 3 different answers on this. All right, so state the zeros of the function. So what are the zeros of this guy? -3 and 1 and 2. Okay, and what type of degree is it? I'm sorry, what number degree is this? 5. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. Okay, so we got odd degree. Is it negative or positive? Negative. So it's going to be facing like this, right?
Wait, why is it positive?
It's negative because it's got that guy.
No, it's negative. Oh, you put it
The 0 is supposed to be negative.
Oh, at -1. I was like, what are y'all saying to me? Okay, so -1. This guy goes over here. Thank you. Okay, and then we're gonna have it facing like this. So we're gonna go down. Is there a cross or a bounce at -3? Bounce and then cross at, I'm sorry, bounce at 1 and then cross at 2. Ta-da! Look at that ugly graph. So great.